Welcome to this week's episode. This week's episode is a part 2 of last week's episode about why boxers should build a brand rather than the following. And if you didn't watch last week's episode, I would recommend you watch that before watching this episode so you understand the difference between using social media to build a brand versus using social media to build a following. Because before you start building your brand, it is very important that you know the difference between building a brand and a following, because I don't want you to think you're building a brand when you're really just building a following. And so if you're ready, let's talk about how to start building your brand as a boxer. Disclaimer. This is for boxers with a business mindset. This is not for boxers that want to make shadow boxing TikToks and put trendy audios over it in hopes to go viral. I'm not shaming that, and I honestly think that making that content is better than nothing. But I don't teach that personally because I don't find that to be profitable. This is how to turn boxers into businessmen and how to teach boxers to build a valuable brand that can be monetized using social media. And so now I want to talk about the difference between a brand. Okay, let me slow down. I'm talking way too fast. I want to talk about the difference between a brand and a personal brand. The first thing to consider before starting your brand is what type of brand do you want to build? Do you want to build a normal brand or do you want to build a personal brand? A normal brand is a brand like Title Boxing or Everlast. This brand is not built around a specific individual. This is a route that companies typically take because you don't want to build a company that is dependent on one person. This is especially true for smaller businesses because if the business is named after you, whenever customers have a problem, they're going to want to speak directly to the guy that the business is named after. For example, if I was Jalen Milton's window washing company, and one of my customers spat on a window and walked away, I can't hire a manager or somebody to handle that. They're going to want to talk directly to Jalen Milton because it's named after Jalen Milton. So everything that happens underneath Jalen Milton's window washing company is a reflection of Jalen Milton, and people are always going to want to take that problem up with Jalen Milton. That's why naming a business after yourself is sometimes problematic, because people want to go straight to you. And that means that it will be harder to automate the business, like I just said it, and make it run without you, because your clients will be looking for you whenever they have a need that isn't met. In many cases, I would recommend the normal brand. But as you guys can see, I did not take this route for myself, and I will explain more about why I did that later on. But you should take this route if you plan on starting a clothing line or athletic wear or something that is a physical product, I would say. For physical products, for the most part, you will be okay just taking a normal brand, not necessarily making it into a personal brand. And you could do both, by the way. You could build your normal brand and also build a personal brand alongside. But it takes a lot of energy, and it's better to put energy into one thing in the very beginning. And I would say if you're going to start off with a personal brand, then only do your personal brand at the time. Or if you're going to start off with a normal brand, only focus on your normal brand. After you build that up, then you can start building your personal brand. Because down the road, you want to have a personal brand either way. But you don't have to start off. You don't have to start off right away going the personal brand route. And also, if you take the route of a normal brand, it is easier to sell the company when you're ready to exit with a big payday. And it's more difficult to sell a business that is named after yourself because it's named after yourself. But that's not really a problem you need to be worrying about right now. And also, you could just do let's say this year it's 2025. Let's say in 2030 I want to sell my business. I could just add 2028 I could start rebranding. So by 2030 it's ready to be sold and it's not dependent on me. But once again, those aren't really things you need to worry about right now. That's something I kind of think about for the long term, because you do want to think long term in business, but don't stress yourself out worrying about problems that you don't have yet. This is my favorite saying, and I actually don't know if I came up with this saying or if I heard it from somebody else, but I like to say, solve your problems in the order that you have them. So don't focus on tomorrow's problems when you have today's problems. Solve your problems in the order that you have them. And building a normal brand is also more convenient when it comes to scaling, and it allows you to go under the radar. The con is that it's harder to build a strong relationship with customers and potential customers, especially in the beginning, because there's no specific person for the customers to feel connected to. This could be fixed by making yourself the face of the company still, or having somebody else that is the face of the company. But that means, you can still be the face of the company even though it's not named after you personally. And your other option is to build a personal brand, which is what I'm doing, as you can see. A personal brand is your reputation. In last week's episode, we talked about how a brand is a pairing. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. In last week's episode, we talked about how a brand is a deliberate pairing between two things. And also, when you're building your personal brand or a brand in general, you want people to pair your brand with something that they find desirable. So when they think about you, they think about this desirable thing, or when they think about this desirable thing, they think about you. And if it sounds confusing, go watch last week's episode because I broke it down more. And so when building a personal brand, you have to understand that your business is an extension of yourself. So using me as an example, I have this podcast that teaches boxers how to build their personal brands and make money by monetizing their brand and building a business off of it. When I decided to start this business, I was debating with myself about whether I wanted to name it after myself or if I wanted to name it this other. I came up with I'm not going to say the name because maybe one day I want to rebrand, but I came up with this other name that I thought was really good and clever for the topic and the niche that I'm in about helping boxers build their brands and become businessmen. And so I was debating, should I name this after myself or should I name the podcast and the business after this name I came up with? I decided to name it after myself because I wanted to build a brand and build a business that is very interactive, and I wanted to be really connected with the people, and I wanted them to be connected to me directly, not connected to this name. And I didn't want it to feel like obviously this is a business and it's transactional at the end of the day. Of course, right now you're getting this for free, but I do want to sell products as well. So it is going to be transactional. It is going to be a business, but I didn't want it to feel like a business, and I don't want it to just be a business. I want it to be interactive and help people for free, and also help people that decide to pay me in the future. And so because I wanted to increase connectivity between me and my followers and me and customers and me and potential customers, I decided to name it after myself. And so as a boxer who is also working with other boxers, I also thought that it would make more sense for me to name it after myself because I wanted them to feel more connected to me and want to follow my boxing career when I turn professional. And so you got to think about what are your goals with business that's influencing your decision of building a brand, like a normal brand or a brand as in a personal brand. And so now this isn't the only thing I do. I also have a nonprofit organization that is called the Big Brother Project. And that I purposely did not name it after myself because I was thinking between making it the Jalen Milton Foundation or the Milton Foundation. But I purposely did not name it after myself because I don't want that to be an extension of myself. I wanted my nonprofit to be completely separate from me so that way it could run without me, or if something happened to me, I wanted my nonprofit to survive because I care about the mission. And yeah, so you got to think about what are your goals for the company, how involved you want to be in the company or the business and whatever. But I would say I don't want you guys to get into analysis paralysis, thinking so much about the future that you don't take action in the now. Don't think about the future so much that you don't take action in the now. You got to do stuff now. I was listening to this podcast, and this dude was talking about analysis paralysis. And he was saying that we wait so long to make decisions because we want to have 100% of the information before making a decision. We really only need 70% of the information to make a decision. And so basically his point was, you don't need to know everything. You need to know just enough that allows you to make a decision. So once you have enough data, enough information to make a decision, make the decision. Don't sit here and try to think, okay, well, what am I going to do 10 years from now when I want to sell my business? No. Take action in the now. You need to make money now. We're not thinking about selling the business for hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars yet. We haven't even made a single dollar. You cannot think about that until you make $1 because you don't even have a business to sell yet. So don't worry about that too much. But yeah, you got to decide what approach you want to take with your brand. And assuming that most of you guys are new to social media and brand building, I would recommend taking the personal branding route. But once again, that is if you are not developing a physical product. If you are developing a physical product, I think it would do you better to build a normal brand. Also, if you don't know what to do as far as monetizing, you don't know what you want to do to make money, you don't know what you want to sell, you don't know what product you want to develop, then I would say take the personal brand route because you can start building your personal brand while you're figuring this out. And then at least then, once you have it figured out, you've already gotten a head start on the personal branding part. And if you need to pivot and change your brand a little bit, you're still in the early phases, you have enough time, and you could just be like, okay, well, I was making content like this before, I'm going to pivot and go this route, but you already have the head start and the momentum to help you succeed. Now, the second step is to pick a niche. Picking a niche is critical to building a brand that can succeed without depending on going viral. If you don't pick a niche, you are going to get swept by the competition. It is highly competitive in the online business space, in the online entrepreneurial industry. There's people doing almost everything. You need to go very, very niche down and be very specific about who you help and what problem you solve, because that allows you to stand out amongst these people and build a very close following. You won't build the largest following, but you will build a closer, targeted following of people that want to buy from you. And having a smaller following allows you to be more interactive, which is like what I'm doing. Like this is why I have a Google Doc. If you fill out, the Google form. If you fill out the Google form in the description or in the pinned comment, I will talk to you personally and help you build your brand on social media. And I will also give you free resources that will help you that you will not get from the podcast. So this is kind of a slick way of plugging the Google form. Go fill out the Google form so I can help you out personally. But anyways, back to the podcast. You may think that if you niche down, you have less people to sell to, which is technically true. But when you niche down, you have more people that want to buy from you, specifically like what I just said. This is why my podcast is for teaching boxers how to build their brand, not for teaching all athletes how to build their brand. It's very targeted to boxers because I am a boxer. And because I'm a boxer and you're a boxer, we have a stronger sense of relatability, and my content is more targeted and it feels more personal to you. And it is easier for me to sell a targeted product. It's easier for me to sell a targeted product to a targeted customer than it is to sell a general product to a general customer. The simple mental framework for how to pick a niche is to ask yourself, what do I want to focus on and who do I want to focus on? These two things obviously must correlate to one another. Like, for example, I wanted to focus on helping people build their brands, and then the who is boxers. So I help boxers build their brands and make money, so that way they can support their boxing careers. And because I'm passionate about the subject, because I'm a boxer who wants to build my brand and make money and support my boxing career, because I'm going to be turning professional soon, and I want to be prepared for that. And I don't want to depend on fighting to pay my bills. I don't want to trade my health for money. So I want to be able to walk away from the sport of boxing at any time. So I have pain and an emotional connection to this niche, and I can help other people that are in the same boat as me, and I can make it a lot easier for them because I had to do a lot of stuff to learn the things that I've learned, while I can just give it to you in order that you need it. I can help you personally, blah, blah, blah. But I don't need to talk all about me. You guys get the point. And so, yeah, they got to correlate with each other. You can't focus on freaking rock collecting and overweight men. They don't make sense. They don't correlate to one another. But you could focus on at-home boxing programs for overweight men who want to lose weight and also learn how to fight. This is a niche. This is more targeted, and it may not go viral, but it will reach the right people. It will reach people that are interested in that, and the people that are interested in that will be more willing to buy from you because you speak directly to them about what they want, and you have the solution to the problem that they are having. That's an example of a niche for someone who maybe wants to go the personal training route. To make it even more simple, identify what problem you want to solve, and then identify who has that problem. And then just like that, you have found your niche. The more specific your niche and the more painful the problem is that you solve, the stronger your brand will be. But that also means that your brand will be smaller. Stronger brands are typically smaller because you're more targeted on a certain group of people that has a unique problem. But that is good because that means that these people will, one, be more inclined to buy from you, and you can even charge higher prices because you are a specialist in this area. And so when you have a very specific niche, you don't need a huge following. If you have 1,000 followers, but all of them are people within your niche, it will be harder to not make money than it would be to make money. And a small niche following is more profitable than 50,000 random followers, and it's easier to manage, and you can be more interactive with people, and you can help more people when you have a smaller niche following. And I know this because I had 40,000 followers and made $0 from it. And picking a niche is a tough decision to make. And I'm thinking about doing a podcast specifically on picking your niche. So if you would like me to make a podcast specifically on picking your niche, please comment that down below so I can help you out. So now you need to find your style for your brand. And while it seems like most of us are going to take the social media route, we can talk more about social media and different strategies to say, because social media is more than just posting random stuff, and which platform you use is also a strategic decision that you have to make. But for now, we're going to talk about content creation and your strategy beyond content creation and your style. I mean, style, not strategy. And so content creation, creating content is almost like an art form when you're really into it. Like, I've been into like media and cameras and stuff since I was 12 years old, or like 11. So I've been into this for like a decade now. And if you are trying to get into content creation, I would recommend to approach it like a form of art. So what do artists do? They get inspiration. I would tell you to find 1 to 3 model content creators who have a brand that you admire and a brand that you would like to replicate and have a brand similar to that, and take inspiration from them. You're not copying them, you're getting inspiration from them. You're going to try to see like what is the creative process behind these videos that they're making, or these pictures, these posts that they're making, and think about how you can implement that yourself. And you specifically do not want to copy them. You just want to use them for inspiration. Like, for example, some creators are very serious, while some creators are more playful. Some creators like to use raw footage. Some creators like to edit and put a lot of editing all over the screen. Some people talk and film as if they're on a FaceTime call with the viewer, while some people want to be more professional and be more high quality, high production, and have like multiple camera angles, for example. And I would say that if you're not very familiar with videography, do not try to go into the very high quality production. Don't try to have multiple camera angles because it gets confusing, and I edit these videos myself. But I've been editing videos for over 10 years now. So like putting a couple camera angles is really no big deal to me. But if you're brand new to it, you want to keep it as simple as possible so that you're more likely to stay consistent. And you want to play towards your strengths when determining your style. So, for example, me, I don't have it in me to be the super high energy, upbeat guys. What's up, guys? Jaylee here with another video. Like, I don't have that in me. It's just that's not my personality. And so I can't force myself to be something that I'm not. And I want to be authentic in my videos and act as much like my true self as possible. I'm naturally a more monotone, calm guy. And of course, I get hyper sometimes, but for the most part, I'm usually more like mellow. And so while that may be more boring, it's not the most entertaining and most engaging content. But my goal with this content is not to be engaging. It's not to entertain you. I'm trying to provide value, provide education, and I want to connect with you guys, which is why I have the Google form down below that you can fill out so we can talk one-on-one about building your brand. But yeah, that's the content style that I take. So I would just say, let your content reflect your true self. Some people, they get on the internet, they put on a whole new personality. I mean, if you want to do that. But I want my brand to get bigger within the boxing world. So I may go to tournaments. I want to meet you guys at tournaments or something. Or even after I turn pro, I want to meet the people that watch my podcast. And so I don't want them to meet me in person and be like, oh, you're not the person that I watch. So I just act as much like myself as possible. If anything, I'm probably nicer in real life than I am in the podcast because I'm just talking to a camera. Like if I was talking to a real human right now, I would feel more interactive. I would feel more like personal, you know? I'm trying to pretend this camera is a person, but I just can't do it. The style you take and the route you take depends on your niche and your product. If you're selling online boxing training, then you don't need as much production quality as someone who's starting in an athletic wear brand or a clothing brand. You need more quality for clothing brand because you have a lot of marketing to do. You want to leverage your strengths. So, for example, like if you have a network of professional boxers, like I know a couple of professional boxers that down the road I want to come have on the podcast. If you have these type of connections, you should optimize these in your content and use them to elevate your brand. And it will help them too when you're building your brand. And a good example of that is Box Raw. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Box Raw on YouTube, but they do training camp videos. Like for example, I was watching Dimitri Bevil's training camp for Archer Better BF, or Better Be whatever his last name is. And that content is really engaging because they have a boxing star in it. So if you have these type of connections, you should use these connections in your content. But that also depends on how close you are with these people. Like if you just know these people but you're not close to them, then you don't want to come off as if you're like trying to use them or anything like that. But if you can even pay them whatever and make it incentivize them to help you out with your brand, do that then. But you just want to play to your strengths. But at the end of the day, I can't do the brainstorming for you. I can just point you in the right direction. But if you do want me to brainstorm with you and help you think, then you got to fill out that Google form in the comment section. You also will eventually need to determine your visual styles, such as colors, fonts, etc. But I don't want to overwhelm you with all that. And so we're not going to talk about that in this episode. But like you even see with the thumbnails in these videos, like I use the same thumbnail style that I make by myself every single week, because then when people see that style, they will recognize me right away. They don't even have to see the video or the channel to know that it's me, because I have this thumbnail style that I use. And I'm going to change up the thumbnail style eventually, but for now, that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, I just wanted to make that known so you guys can know like there's a lot of intentionality behind my branding strategy. And your content schedule is also going to be important. You should desire to post daily eventually, but don't start off daily because you probably will not be able to sustain that. Like I have content going up every day. I think I have 2 to 3 content pieces going up every single day across platforms, like one on YouTube, one on Instagram, sometimes 2 on YouTube, 2 on Instagram, or sometimes 1 on Instagram, 2 on YouTube, you know. But I'm not trying to confuse you guys. But I would say in the beginning, you can start with just like 3 posts per week. That will be fine. And once again, this also varies based on your product, because you have to remember that we're not making content to get followers. We're making content to get customers and get leads for our business or clients if you're like doing personal training or something. And the content you're watching, this is not my only business venture, but this is the only one that I need to make social media content to market for. The other one, I do email marketing and I do a different type of marketing, but I don't really need to talk about that. You're gonna have a goal with your content. The goal is not just to get followers, but you also don't want to create content just for the sake of creating content and end it there. You need to create ways to interact with your followers and build a connection and make them see you as a friend. And so this is why I have the Google form. I'm sorry, I know I keep on plugging it, but this is the point of the Google form, is because I want to increase my relation with my followers, and I want to increase the sense of community that people feel. I want people to see my content and not see me as like a dude on the internet, but see me as somebody that they know. That's why, even though I don't make money from helping the people that fill out the Google form, I want to do that because it creates a connection with me and the person. So you may be watching this video and me and you have had a conversation before. And that to me is powerful because you will see me as a real human being and somebody that you know, not just some dude that has a podcast. And so that's the type of approach. That's the type of approach I want you guys to take when it comes to content creation. You want to feel as human as possible. You don't want to give people that celebrity starstruck feeling when people come around you, where it's like, oh my gosh, that's that person. No, you want people to be like, oh, that's that person. I know that person. I can walk up to him and dap him up. Like I want to get to the point where I go to the U.S. Nationals and there's boxers coming up to me just like, what's up, Jalen? What's up, Jalen? And even though I've never met them personally, they feel like they know me because I've talked. Well, even some of them I may have talked to them online or whatever. But I want people to feel like they know me on a friendship level, on a first name basis when I meet them in person. While doing that is not always profitable, and you're gonna trade a lot of time that you're not gonna get compensated for. It's worth it because one, it helps your reputation, so it helps you. But two, if you care about what you're doing, you will be happy to help more people. That's why I would say do something that you care about. Do something that you have an impact that you care about. Do something that has an impact that you care about. And being this interactive with your followers is only possible when you have a small, specific niche. And being interactive with them also makes you unforgettable. And of course, as you grow, you're not going to be able to interact one-on-one with everybody. Like I know, like I'm not going to be able to talk one-on-one to everybody, but maybe I can make group chats or do group calls with people for free, and that'll still help me connect with my followers and become more human to them and not just be some dude that they see on the internet. But when that time comes, you'll figure something out. Like I said earlier, you want to solve your problems in the order that you have them. My problem right now is not that I have too many followers, so I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about connecting with the followers that I do have and helping the people that are watching this video, because I don't know how many views I'm going to get on this, but it probably won't be that many. But I want to help all of them. I would love to talk to all of you guys one-on-one because I'm a smaller creator right now. I have the luxury of being able to talk to all of you guys one-on-one. That's the mindset you want to have, and that's how you build a strong brand that's really interactive with your customers, and that's how you build loyal followers and loyal customers, by treating them well. You got to keep in mind, social media is really saturated now. Everybody's a content creator, and this is how you stand out. Not everybody, everybody will come online and make a video, post a video. Not everybody will sit down and have a conversation and be personally connected with the people that watch their content. That's how you stand out. That's how you become more than a content creator to the people that follow you. And that is how you build a brand that makes money. You want to build a money tree. This is how you build a money tree using social media. And so this video should have left you with a basic understanding of how to begin building your brand. And you should now be brainstorming what type of brand do you want to build and how do you want to approach building this brand, what niche you want to be in, and all the stuff we talked about in the video. If you do need more help, you already know, fill out that Google form and I will reach out to you. And if you want me to make a video specifically on picking a niche, please let me know, so that way I know that it will be valuable to you guys, and comment that on the video, and I will make it within the next few weeks. But thank you guys for watching. That is it for this week. Tune in next week. I don't know what the episode is for next week, but it's going to be good. Thank you guys.